Buckle up, everybody, because today we are diving headfirst into the world of sedans.
Ooh, yeah. Sedans.
Specifically, we're taking a look at the top 10 sedans of 2025.
2025 already.
That's right. And to do that, we're going to be sifting through a whole stack of reviews and rankings from some pretty big names in the car world.
Okay, like who?
We've got KBB in the mix,
Yeah.
U.S. News Cars, Edmunds, even in a really interesting piece in the Wall Street Journal.
The Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, they had this fascinating take on, like, the economics of buying a car these days.
Wow.
So yeah, buckle up. Whether you're thinking about getting a new car yourself, or you just like to know what's up and coming in the world of automobiles,
Or you just love sedans.
especially if you love sedans, this is the deep dive for you.
It's a great time for sedans. Like, there's so much going on. You've got your classic brands that are always reliable.
Right.
Then you've got these new companies that are really shaking things up. And, of course, you can't forget about electric cars.
Yeah, the electric revolution is in full swing.
It really is.
So, I guess let's start with what's familiar. You mentioned those classic brands.
Yes.
And I know when we're talking sedans, we got to talk about the Honda Accord and the Toyota Camry.
You can't have this conversation without them.
I mean, these two are always duking it out for the best-selling car in America, right?
All the time. It's kind of amazing. Year after year, they're always at the top of the list. And it makes sense because they've both really nailed that combination of dependability and practicality.
What does that mean exactly?
Like, you know they're going to last.
Yeah.
The Accord, for example, consistently scores really high in J.D. Power's vehicle dependability study.
Which is a big deal.
Huge. And they both offer a comfortable ride. You know, they're roomy enough for a family.
Yeah.
They're great for commuting.
Right.
They just make sense for a lot of people.
Okay, but there are a lot of mid-size sedans out there.
Hmm.
So what is it about these two? Why do they stay at the top year after year?
Well, I think both Honda and Toyota have figured out how to keep getting better. They're constantly making little tweaks and updates, you know, like to the design, the technology, the fuel efficiency.
They're not resting on their laurels.
Exactly. For example, the Camry has a hybrid version now that gets something like 51 miles per gallon combined,
Wow.
which is pretty incredible when you think about gas prices.
Yeah, that's a big selling point these days.
And don't forget about resale value.
Oh, right.
Both the Accord and the Camry hold their value really well, which is something that a lot of buyers care about.
So you're not just thinking about the price you pay up front, you're also thinking about what you can get for it down the road.
Exactly.
Speaking of value, though, we got to talk about the Hyundai Elantra and the Kia K5. These two have really come a long way, haven't they?
They really have. I mean, it used to be that they were kind of known as the budget-friendly options.
Right.
But now it's like they're stylish and affordable.
Yeah, like they've stepped up their game.
They definitely have. And what's really interesting is they haven't just improved the design and the features, they've also made big strides in reliability.
Oh, really?
Like the Kia K5 now comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty,
Wow, that's amazing.
which is almost unheard of in this category of car. So they're not just competing on price anymore. They're really giving those established players a run for their money in terms of quality and features.
It seems like the takeaway here is that if you're shopping for a car, you got to do your research.
Yeah,
Don't just go with what's familiar. Look at all the options.
absolutely.
Okay, let's move on to another sedan that's been a favorite for a long time, especially with younger drivers, the Honda Civic.
Oh, the Civic, yeah.
What is it about this car that makes it so popular?
Well, it's just a really fun car to drive. You know, it's got that sporty feel, but
Yeah.
what's also great is that it's actually pretty spacious for a compact sedan.
So you can actually fit people in the back seat.
You can, surprisingly.
Okay, good to know.
And the newest model comes with a lot of cool tech features, too.
Oh, like what?
You know, like a digital instrument cluster and a big touchscreen infotainment system.
Oh, nice.
All standard.
So it's like you get the fun of a sporty car, but you also get the practicality of a sedan.
Exactly.
All right, so we've talked about some of the more affordable options, but let's be honest, sometimes you just want to drive a car that feels luxurious.
Oh, absolutely.
And that brings us to, I guess, the royalty of the sedan world.
Okay.
The Mercedes-Benz E-Class, the BMW 5 Series, and the Audi A6.
Now we're talking.
I mean, these cars are just in a different league, right?
They are. It's like comparing a five-star hotel to a, well, you know,
Yeah,
a motel.
I got it. Yeah.
They're just built differently. Take the Mercedes E-Class, for instance. It has this optional air suspension system that adjusts to the road conditions.
Fancy.
Super fancy, but it makes the ride incredibly smooth and comfortable.
I bet.
And then you have the BMW 5 Series, which is known for its handling.
Oh, yeah, it's supposed to be really precise.
It is, and they offer some pretty powerful engine options, too.
You can really feel the difference reading these reviews. It's clear that these cars aren't just about getting you from point A to point B.
Yeah.
They're about the entire experience of driving.
You said it.
But, there's a whole other type of experience that's becoming more and more popular in the car world.
What's that?
Electric cars.
Oh, yes, of course.
And leading the charge are the Tesla Model 3 and the Lucid Air.
Two very different takes on the electric car.
Yeah, tell me about them.
Well, the Model 3, I think it's safe to say it's really all about performance and technology. Like, the acceleration is mind-blowing. And it has all these features like autopilot, which is, a bit controversial.
Right.
But it's definitely pushing the boundaries of what's possible in a car.
Like a car from the future.
Exactly. Now, the Lucid Air takes a different approach. It's more about luxury and range.
Range, meaning how far you can drive on a single charge.
Right. And the Lucid Air is supposed to have a range of over 500 miles.
500 miles?
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
It is, and I think it really addresses one of the biggest concerns that people have about electric cars. That fear of running out of juice in the middle of nowhere.
Range anxiety.
Exactly.
So we've got two very different electric cars here, but they both seem to be changing how people think about driving.
They really are.
It's pretty wild to see how much the car market has evolved, even in just a few years.
I know.
So what does all this mean for our listener who's out there trying to decide what kind of sedan to buy? It seems like there's literally something for everyone.
There really is. Whether you care about fuel efficiency, or you want the latest technology, or you just want to enjoy the experience of driving.
Right.
Or maybe you want a little bit of everything.
There's a sedan out there for you.
Somewhere.
But that's also kind of the problem, isn't it?
What do you mean?
With so many amazing options, how do you even begin to choose? What's the one question our listeners should be asking themselves as they navigate this, exciting but maybe also overwhelming world of sedans?
That's a good question. I think instead of trying to figure out which sedan is the best overall,
Right.
maybe the question should be, which sedan is the best for me?
I like that.
What are your priorities? What are your must-haves?
Right.
Once you figure that out, I think the decision becomes a lot easier.
That's a great point. Don't get caught up in the hype.
Yeah.
Think about what you need and what you want in a car.
And
And hey, maybe even test drive a few of these beauties before you make up your mind.
that's always a good idea.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of sedans.
Anytime. Sedans are cool.
See you next time.
Bye, everyone.